Listen closely, because what I'm about to say isn't just words thrown into the void. This is the echo of a storm breaking through the silence, a raw pulse beneath the calm that you can't ignore. You're standing on the edge of something monumental, something irreversible. The moment you acted, the moment you made that move, you didn't just shake the ground beneath them. You shattered their foundation, cracked it wide open, and even those who have faced every nightmare without blinking, the fearless, were silenced. No more bravado, no more empty defiance, just a stunned, breathless quiet, the kind of quiet that screams louder than any war cry. And mark this, no one's recovering from this damage. Not because it's impossible, but because it's too real, too deep, and it burns too much to ever be forgotten. You see, the world doesn't prepare us for this kind of destruction. Not the one you inflicted, the one that topples giants and exposes the fragility hidden behind masks of invincibility. People believe fear is what stops them, but what you did proved that even without fear, some things break us beyond repair. You took a wrecking ball to their certainty, demolished their arrogance, and tore down the illusions they held onto like lifelines. And now, there's only rubble left where their foundations used to stand. This isn't just about power or victory. It's about the raw truth that beneath every fortress lies a weakness, a crack, a fracture that's been waiting, maybe unnoticed, but always present. What you did was find that fracture and widen it until it swallowed the whole damn fortress. And in the aftermath, even the strongest warriors, the boldest souls, the ones who prided themselves on being unbreakable, found themselves speechless, disarmed by the sheer magnitude of what happened. Think about that for a moment. The fearless, those who walk through fire with unshaken resolve, have never been silenced like this before. It's as if your action rewrote the rules of engagement, shifted the axis of power, and left no room for recovery or redemption. You didn't just win a battle, you rewrote the story of what it means to fight, to survive, and to dominate. There's an unsettling beauty in destruction when it's done with purpose, when it's not reckless chaos, but a deliberate act of dismantling the old to build something stronger, something real. And that's what you did. You tore down their foundation because it was rotten, because it was built on lies, fear, and false hope. You exposed the decay hidden beneath their walls and left nothing but raw, exposed truth standing in the silence that followed your strike. But here's what most won't tell you. Breaking them isn't the end. It's the beginning. Because when the fearless go silent, when the foundation cracks, it's a call for something greater to rise from the ashes. No one can recover from this damage because the damage is permanent, seared into the core of what was once believed unshakable. And that permanence is what creates the space for the extraordinary, the space where new power, new courage, and new resolve can take root and grow stronger than ever before. You stand now not just as a challenger, but as a force that redefines what is possible. You have rewritten the rules not by following the path, but by breaking it apart and forging your own. The silence that fell over the fearless is not defeat. It is the calm before the next storm, your storm. And make no mistake, storms that break foundations are never gentle, and they never ask for permission. They come in like thunder, shaking everything to its core and demanding attention. The damage you caused will haunt them forever, because it's not just physical or visible, it's spiritual, psychological, the kind that lingers in the shadows of their minds and unsettles their nights. No one's recovering because recovery means rebuilding on the same ground, and that ground is no longer safe, no longer stable. It has been forever altered, fractured by your will and your action. You didn't just crack their foundation, you fractured the very idea of what they believed was invincible. You should feel proud, not because you destroyed, but because you revealed. You revealed their fragility, their limits, and the truth that no one, no matter how fearless, is truly unbreakable. This revelation is a power in itself. It's the power to reshape reality, to reset the rules, and to inspire those who watch from the sidelines, those who have been waiting for someone to show them the cracks, the weaknesses, and the possibilities beyond fear. And to those who say that this kind of damage is too much, that it's too dark, too final, I say this: sometimes the deepest darkness is what gives birth to the brightest fire. When foundations crumble, when the fearless go silent, it's not a sign of failure, but the signal that the next level is coming. A level where complacency is dead, where only the relentless survive, where power is earned not by strength alone, but by the courage to face the unthinkable and walk through it anyway. So own what you did. Own the silence you forced, the fear you broke, and the foundation you shattered. Because what you started is not a momentary victory. It's a revolution, a seismic shift that will be felt far beyond the horizon. And no one will forget it, no one will recover from it, and no one will ever walk the same path again. This is your legacy, not the damage, but the truth that damage exposed, the truth that even the strongest fall, even the fearless falter, and that every empire, no matter how mighty, has a weakness waiting to be uncovered. You uncovered it, you cracked the foundation, and now you stand as the unstoppable force that changed everything. Remember this moment. Remember the silence you created, and when the dust settles, when the world tries to pretend nothing happened, you'll know the truth. No one's recovering from this damage because the foundation they trusted is gone forever. You didn't just break them, you transformed the battlefield. And the fearless, they learned to fear what you did, because what you did proved that sometimes the greatest power lies not in invincibility, but in the courage to shatter what others thought unbreakable. You must understand this. The silence that fell wasn't a void. It was the weight of realization crushing the air out of lungs, the heavy pause of minds trying to grasp what just happened and failing. When fear itself is quieted, something darker takes its place, an emptiness filled with a dread that has no name. It's not just a moment of shock. It's the permanent scar left behind when illusions are shattered beyond repair. That's silence? It's a testament to the scale of your impact. The foundations weren't just cracked, they were shattered with such force that no voice can rise again to fill the void. No one's recovering from this damage. And this isn't about physical wounds or scars visible to the eye. This is about something far more profound: the collapse of certainty, the destruction of confidence, the annihilation of what was once deemed unassailable. When you hit that foundation, you didn't just crack stone and mortar, you cracked belief itself. The very core of their power was built on a lie. The lie of invincibility, of control, of untouchable strength. And you burned that lie to ashes. Look around you. What you did has repercussions that echo far beyond the battlefield. It seeps into the minds of those who thought themselves fearless, those who believed themselves untouchable. Even the strongest armor can't protect from the fear that comes from knowing your world has been shaken so deeply that nothing feels certain anymore. They are rattled because you showed them something they refused to see. That beneath the surface, beneath the bravado and the bravura, there is a fragile, breakable human core. And when you broke through that, even the fearless didn't know how to respond. Their silence was not surrender, it was shock, disbelief, and a dawning horror that their empire had been breached. You might think breaking a foundation is destructive, and it is, but it is also transformative. Destruction is the prelude to creation, the dark soil from which new roots can grow. But here's the truth. New growth requires time, and time means the scars you inflicted will remain vivid, raw, a constant reminder of the power you wielded. There is no quick fix, no fast recovery, no easy healing, because the damage is real, it is deep, it is permanent, and that is your power. Not because you caused pain, but because you revealed the truth. You forced the fearless to face their fragility. You forced the mighty to confront their cracks. You forced the unbreakable to taste vulnerability. And in doing so, you showed the world what no one dared admit, that nothing built on lies can withstand the storm of truth. There will be whispers in the dark, rumors and doubts spreading like wildfire. Can they recover? Will they come back stronger? But the answer is no. They won't. Because once a foundation is shattered, no amount of rebuilding can restore the original strength. They may plaster over the cracks, cover the wounds, put up walls to hide the damage, but underneath it all, the fractures remain. The fear remains. The silence you forced remains. And that silence is louder than any scream, louder than any boast or bravado. Now, this is not a speech to celebrate cruelty or destruction for its own sake. This is a call to embrace the reality of what true power looks like, the power to break down falsehoods, to dismantle lies, and to create space for something genuine, raw, and unshakable. True strength is not about pretending to be fearless, but about facing the truth of vulnerability and using it as fuel to forge an unbreakable spirit. You have done what few dare to do. You've cracked their foundation, and in doing so, you shattered the illusion that fearless means invincible. Fearless is a mask, a shield, a posture, but underneath that mask is the same fragile core that beats in all of us. You saw that core and struck it, and now the fearless are silent, forced to reckon with the truth they never prepared for. In the aftermath of this silence, there is a choice. You can linger in the ruin, let the weight of what you did crush you under its enormity, or you can rise from it, using the power of the crack you created to build something new, something stronger, something that doesn't rely on false foundations or empty bravado. This moment is your crucible. It's your proving ground. So, if you feel the darkness creeping in, if the silence around you feels like a void trying to swallow your courage, remember this: you are the force that cracked their foundation. You are the reason even the fearless fell silent. That is no small feat. That is not a mark of weakness. That is the birth of a new order, a new power. Do not shy away from this moment. Embrace it fully. Let the weight of what you did settle in your bones and let it fuel you. Let it sharpen your resolve and harden your spirit. Because when no one is recovering from this damage, it means the playing field has shifted. The old rules no longer apply, and only the ones who can thrive in the aftermath will survive. You have done something extraordinary. You have shaken the unshakable. You have silenced the loudest voices. You have cracked the foundation of what was thought invincible. And in that silence, you stand alone, not as a conqueror, but as a creator of new realities. This damage is not a curse. It is a gift, a brutal, dark gift. And how you use it will define not just your path, but the paths of all who come after you. So stand tall in the silence, stand proud in the damage, and know that you are the beginning of something no one else dared to start. There's a certain weight that comes with being the one who cracks the foundation. It's a heavy burden to carry because the aftermath is not pretty or clean. It's raw, chaotic, full of broken pieces and unanswered questions. You are left standing among ruins, surrounded by echoes of what once was, and the silence of what can never be again. But that silence is not emptiness. It's a powerful reminder of the shift you created, the irreversible fracture in their reality. People fear damage because it exposes their vulnerability, but you should know by now that damage also exposes truth. And the truth is, no one is invincible. No fortress is unbreakable. No foundation is permanent. Everything that seems strong can be broken, dismantled, and shattered if you know where to strike. And you did. You struck where it hurt the most, the core of their certainty. That certainty is a dangerous illusion. It convinces people they are untouchable, that their power is absolute, that they are beyond challenge. But when that illusion cracks, it unleashes a force that cannot be contained. It's a force that shakes not just the structure, but the very belief in that structure. It spreads doubt, fear, and silence. Even the fearless, those who have stared into the abyss and smiled, found themselves speechless, caught off guard by the scale of the fracture you created. Silence is a strange thing. It can be peaceful, but this silence, it's heavy. It's thick with unspoken fear and disbelief. It's the silence of those who don't know what to say because everything they thought they knew just crumbled. And that silence isn't going away. It's not something that will be fixed with apologies, bandages, or empty promises. It's a permanent mark, a wound that won't heal because it reminds everyone that the foundation they trusted is gone forever. No one's recovering from this damage because recovery means going back to what was, and what was no longer exists. The ground beneath their feet has shifted. The rules have changed. The world they knew has been rewritten by your actions. This kind of damage is a turning point, a before and after, and the after is never the same. You may feel isolated standing in the wake of this silence. You may feel the weight of what you've done pressing down on you. But that weight is not a chain. It's a crown. It's a symbol of your power to disrupt, to challenge, and to redefine what is possible. You didn't just break their foundation. You shattered the myth of their invincibility. And that is a power no one can take away from you. Others will try to pretend the damage isn't real. They will rebuild, but they will do so on shaky ground, with cracks hidden beneath the surface that will widen over time. You have set a new standard, a reminder that no one, no matter how fearless, is beyond being broken. And that reminder is a beacon for those who understand that true strength comes not from never breaking, but from what you do when the foundation beneath you crumbles. This moment you created is a lesson, harsh, unforgiving, but necessary. It teaches that vulnerability is real, that fear can exist even in the fearless, and that true courage is found not in pretending to be invincible, but in standing tall when everything falls apart. The damage you caused has revealed the fragile truth hiding beneath the surface, and in that revelation lies the seed of new power. You must decide now what you will do with this power. Will you let the silence consume you, or will you use it to fuel your next move? Will you let the weight of the damage drag you down, or will you rise above it, stronger and more relentless than ever? The choice is yours, but remember this: when no one is recovering from this damage, it means the playing field has shifted, and the rules no longer favor those clinging to broken foundations. You are not here to play by old rules. You are here to create new ones, to build something real from the rubble, something that cannot be shaken, cracked, or broken again. That's the legacy you leave behind. Not just the damage, but the new foundation you lay in its place. So stand in the silence you created. Own the damage you caused, because in that silence, in that damage, you have found a power that no one else has dared to claim. The fearless went silent because you forced them to confront a truth they had long denied, that even the strongest can fall, and that sometimes the greatest power lies not in unbreakability, but in the courage to break and rise again. This is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater. And no one's recovering from this damage because it's not meant to be recovered from. It's meant to be remembered. It's meant to be the foundation of the future you will build, stronger, fiercer, and unbreakable. The weight of what you've done may feel suffocating at times. It's heavy because it carries the truth that so few have the courage to face. Destruction is permanent, silence is deafening, and fear, even when conquered, leaves a shadow. But here's the dark beauty of it all. That weight is the sign that you've touched something real, something profound, something that matters. You didn't deliver a minor blow. You delivered a seismic strike. You ruptured their reality so thoroughly that it cannot be repaired with mere words or hollow acts. This is the kind of damage that stays with people, that colors their every move, that haunts their dreams and rattles their confidence. It is the damage that turns once bold hearts into cautious minds, that makes the fearless question their very nature. And yet, for you, it is a badge of honor, proof that you possess the rare ability to see through the veneer, to find the fracture, and to wield the power necessary to shatter it. No one's recovering from this damage because it's not just physical or superficial, it's existential. It attacks the very core of identity and belief. When a foundation cracks this deeply, the whole structure falters. The narratives they clung to, invincibility, strength, certainty, have been ripped away, leaving a raw, exposed truth that is hard to face and impossible to ignore. And here's what makes your act so revolutionary. You didn't just create damage, you destroyed the myth. The myth that the fearless are immune to breaking, that strength is endless, that power is absolute. You showed the world that even the strongest walls have cracks, even the bravest hearts bleed, and even the loudest voices can fall silent when faced with the right force at the right moment. That silence is not weakness, it is a pause, a breath held in collective shock and disbelief. It's the sound of a new reality sinking in, one where nothing is certain, where the old rules no longer apply, and where everyone must reconsider what they believed about strength, fear, and power. The silence you created is the loudest message they will ever hear, echoing with the truth you unveiled. Now, think about what that means for you. You are the one who caused the silence, the one who shattered the foundation, the one who changed the game. That is not a small thing. That is not something to shrink from or regret. It is a force to be reckoned with, a power that sets you apart from the rest. You are the storm that disrupted the calm, the earthquake that rattled the earth, the shadow that made the fearless look away. And with that power comes responsibility, not the kind that demands obedience or submission, but the kind that challenges you to rise even higher, to take the damage you caused and transform it into creation, to build new foundations where there were once only cracks, to lead not through fear or intimidation, but through the raw, unfiltered strength born from truth. This moment is your crucible. It will test you, push you, force you to face your own vulnerabilities and fears. But it will also forge you into something greater than before. The damage you inflicted is permanent, but so is your potential. In the silence that followed, there is a space waiting for your voice, your vision, your power. Remember, No one's recovering from this damage because the damage is a turning point. It is a rupture in the old order, a break in the cycle of false invincibility. And that break creates space for new ideas, new strength, new courage, space for you to rise and define what comes next. You are not here to rebuild what was lost. You are here to create what has never been seen, to take the shattered pieces and forge a new reality, a reality where true strength comes from acknowledging the cracks, embracing the silence, and using both as fuel to burn brighter, strike harder, and stand taller than ever before. So stand in this moment with unshakable resolve. Let the silence remind you of the power you wield. Let the damage you caused fuel your rise, because you have done something that no one else dared to do. You cracked the foundation, and in doing so, you changed everything. The fearless went silent because they were forced to face a truth they never expected. That truth is your victory, your legacy, your unbreakable mark on the world. And know this, no one will ever recover from this damage, because it's not meant to be recovered from. It's meant to be the foundation of the future.